All right, and good morning to all you fun people out there in SWGOH land. I am Finity, filling in for Ranger, who is currently on some family stuff. He's having a vacation, and as he has threatened several times, he was going to leave me alone to do all this by myself, because I've done that to him several times. So I am currently taking over the Jedi Academy for Ranger. So, welcome one and all to Jedi Academy. This is a 2-hour question and answer stream for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. You guys come with questions. We have a great group of people here ready to answer those questions for you. So let's go ahead and start introducing them. First off, here from the beginning, Mr. Warrior from Warrior Presents. Warrior, how are you doing this morning?
Not bad. How are you doing?
I'm way too chipper, I think, for this early in the morning, but I'm always like that. So.
I think we all are. That's great.
Yeah, we've been having some fun conversation before this started. All right, so next up, we have Mr. Ramon Azab.
Hello, hello.
And then we have Miss T Money G.
Good morning.
We have Xylo Takedown.
Good morning, everybody.
We have good old Maurice.
I am surrounded by morning people.
Oh my god, we had this whole chipper thing. I should have kept good old Maurice for
Yeah.
We had this whole chipper thing going.
Yeah. Sorry. Hello, everyone. Good morning.
And then we have King Felix.
Yeah, I'm also not a morning person, so you'll need to tone it down.
High five.
Then somebody else that I think is a morning person, and even more excited now that Darth Revan is delayed a little bit, Miss Jedi Master Adastra.
Good morning.
There we go. There's that chipper attitude at the end. All right, so go ahead and start getting your questions in, everyone. Make sure that you start it with the word question so that I can pull it into the bot. As mentioned, I'm kind of pulling double duty with the stream as well as grabbing questions and everything. So please try to make it easy for me. And if you don't put question in there, it's actually not going to show up in our bot, which is what I'm using in order to grab the question. So please make sure that you guys do that. And with that, big news. We saw the release video of Darth Revan that originally had the March 21st date, which was then quickly edited, and there was a reply by Carrie saying that we don't want to put the date just in case anything does come up and it causes a delay. Well, there was a delay. And so currently Darth Revan is slated to come next week. I think there's a lot of implications on it in the community, but let's go ahead and just kind of go around the corner a little bit here and just get everyone's thoughts on it as we're gathering more questions. Kind of just starting in the order, Warrior, what are your thoughts on the delay? And how do you think it impacts the community?
Well, the delay, a lot of people are happy because they're like, oh, yay, we're going to get like 3 or 4 more days. And so the percentage of individuals getting Revan will probably go from, 7% to around 12%, which will be I hate to use this word, but the heaviest penetration of an initial run of a character ever. Normally, when a character comes out, like Chewie and others, the first time around in the event, about 7% of the population acquires the character, and with the delay, about 12%. So there's about 5% more that'll get it. I think that's a good thing for those individuals. So yay for them. But it's indicative of something far more sinister, sadly, and that is that he's broken and that they're trying to fix it before they give it to him. And that is a good thing that they're trying to fix him before they give him to us, because they have given us broken characters in the past. After having gone through a couple of days of theory crafting and excitement, they have just yesterday posted an FAQ, which stands for Frequently Asked Questions. And all of the questions they answer, for the most part, I knew the answers to, except there were a couple I was like, let's see. Fractural were great, blah, blah, blah. Well, Thrawn will not be able to even fracture. He won't even be able to use his own ability because of the synergy with this new kit. So they're shutting down the past's most powerful characters, and not by using normal means of doing it, but like, oh, this guy's just that much more overpowered. He hits for 50k or something silly. It's like, we're just going to take every previous kit and render those previous kits useless with this new kit by just programming the uselessness into it because we needed to override those old kits because we needed to be good. So I hate to use this word, but it's lazy programming when you make a kit where you're saying how we're going to overcome the past metas is to just break the past metas and make them obsolete versus making something new and creative. Corrupted battle meditation, these all the different debuffs that are buffs. Well, what if somebody cleanses it? Well, we'll just make it lockable so it can't be cleansed. It's like, come on, are you serious? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You can't just keep doing that because you're making the game so much more broken that the future potential content is nearly impossible now to make. They set a precedence, and now with his kit, there's just no future for good legendary characters that will be able to do anything. And Revan, the old Revan, the last Revan, really did a number on the game. And instead of trying to create balance, which I thought they had with this new team, after reading their FAQ, it appears we're just totally screwed. And I can guarantee the reason why they didn't bring it out the 21st is because they are in complete agreement with me, and they're trying to figure out how to tone this thing down because this monster is about to come out and completely shut their game down. And they've got to figure it out before they bring it out and ruin the whole entire game for everybody. So I hope they figure it out this weekend. I hope it comes out way toned down. And I hope that they would reconsider some of the things, such as Fracture not being considered a regular debuff, rather a unique debuff, and it not be not usable, because it just seems silly for a lot of the uniqueness in the past, such as Isolate and Fracture, to not be used when that's the whole purpose of those characters. So anyway, I'm a bit nervous now for the health of the game over the next few months.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how they're doing this. And T-Money, I think we had, a lot of us had this discussion when Jedi Knight Revan came out, which is that he almost seemed like the definition of power creep to some extent, right? Like, his kit was the combination of so many different characters. He was definitely very, very OP. His length in the meta has been ridiculous. This hasn't been time-wise that much, but 90% of the meta is definitely a huge number compared to most of the other metas. So do you think this is the whole Darth Revan being broken to the point where they just can't release him and everything is maybe them trying too hard to counter the Jedi Knight Revan meta and try to end it, and they've gone overboard? Or what are your thoughts on how this is all playing out?
I'm not sure. I mean, typically we have some faith in the company, and kind of looking back, we can see, oh, okay, this is what's happened. But you're right. I mean, Jedi Knight Revan has completely saturated Arena for a long time. Everybody's got him new right now. There's a lot of people rising in the ranks with Arena, which is nice. Power creep, I agree, Warrior. It's caught up with them, and this is what kits are going to have to look like for us to be motivated to purchase a character, to participate in the new type of pseudo marquees that are coming out. And this is kind of, I think, the future of the game in a way. I think that this kit is much more creative than Jedi Knight Revan's. It felt like Jedi Knight Revan, they just kind of went down the list of all the characters and was just took all of these different parts of them, like Fracture and Turn Meter Swap and, all of these pieces that I feel like this kit is a lot more creative than that one was. But I don't know. I've kind of, everybody's saying that, give us the event so that everybody doesn't get it. Well, you know what? Let's just give it to everyone. We have Arena, yes, but we also have Grand Arena now. We have Territory Wars. There's a lot of different places that we can use these characters. And my feeling is that what's going to separate folks is how to mod this faction. I think it's going to be difficult to mod. I think it's going to be tricky. And I think that that's really what's going to continue to separate folks in Arena, maybe a little bit more than Jedi Knight Revan, because you can climb with Jedi Knight Revan even if you have 60 speed on him. It just if you try hard enough, you can just get all the way up. So that's kind of my feeling.
My poor crit damage mods. They have just rendered crit damage mods useless. I mean, eventually it's going to be Darth Revan versus Darth Revan. Everyone's going to have battle meditation. Nobody's going to be critting. It's going to be more offense mods probably, right? I don't know. It's going to be tough.
I really want to see the base speeds to actually see what we're dealing with here. That's whatever, they can put any ability they want. He's got a base speed of 100. It's a whole different animal. So we really need to see the base speeds to figure that out. And maybe Warrior, to your point, maybe that's what they're changing right now. Maybe they're looking at this and they're like, okay, well, we've released the kit. Can't really change anything there. Let's make them, slower, less hard hitting, or who knows? Maybe they're speeding them up. Who knows what they're doing right now?
Well, they could totes for change the kit. I mean, they've done crazier things than that. Remember mods?
I don't actually, but
I got a mod with 85% protection.
I got 125% protection on my mod. There was like speeds, like 75 speed. And then like literally 3 days later, that didn't count. Everything's being nerfed. 7. Mods were taken off your characters, and here's a nice 25 speed mod. But I kind of agree with Warrior. I think that that the complex kit of Jedi Knight Revan kind of makes any kits that are going to be made specifically to trump that one more difficult to make, because they kind of went overboard with Jedi Knight Revan's kit to make it so that it was automatically going to be on top of everybody else's. And when you just have to look at the complexity of all these kits. I mean, it's something like we've been talking about for a while now. It's that the more complex these kits get, you look at like Jedi Knight Revan's kit in comparison to like Plo Koon's kit. It's like literally ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much verbiage in there that and that's going to continue to be the case. I mean, like all these new characters that come out are going to have just wall of text kits that are super complex, and that's just made to overcome the previous meta. And whenever Darth Revan comes out, if they do leave the kit exactly the way it is, the next character that comes out that's supposed to trump that, whether it's Jedi Luke or some character from, maybe it's Snoke, who knows? I mean, whatever character comes out down the road that's supposed to be the next, trumping of the meta is going to have to be that much more OP to beat Darth Revan. So it's like, and then at that point, I mean, it renders a lot of the other characters that don't necessarily have super complex kits basically useless. So it's I mean, when Grand Admiral Thrawn came out, I mean, his kit was pretty complex. Now it looks like one of the beginner kits, because it's in comparison to kits like Revan's and Rey Jedi Trainings and some of the newer legendary kits. It's pretty pretty bare bones. So I mean, again, I think that he's kind of right. I think that there's going to be maybe some adjustments made. I don't know if they're going to actually out and out change the kit, because I think that would look really bad. But
what could Thrawn do right now going against the Darth Revan? You know what I mean? He can't cleanse.
What they could do is,
these things are going to be lockable. He can't fracture because he'll have debuffs. He can't counter attack or gain bonus turn meter. I mean, he can't anything. There's just nothing.
But they could buff.
They could buff. Rendered useless. He could do $5,000 on a basic. Whee!
They could buff Thrawn, right? They could make Thrawn's ability a lockable debuff, right? And then it becomes, if they made fracture something that can be locked.
Well, fracture can be locked right now. Fracture's already a locked debuff.
Fracture's already locked. So basically, why won't it stick then?
They don't let him use it. That's part of the overall.
It's considered a debuff. Mm-hmm. It's considered a debuff, and so once he has the battle meditation, the negative battle meditation over him, the corrupted battle meditation, he won't be able to inflict debuffs, and that is defined as a debuff. So in their FAQ, they confirmed 100%. Once he has that battle meditation, he won't be able to do crap. Same is true with Traya, except for Traya. The only benefit with her is she can cleanse before her turn, which will convert it, but so it punishes her in a different way. But they said using Traya, it would be a complete waste.
But what if Team Money says, let's say Revan's got 100 base speed, and Thrawn is fast enough to go first, then he can do it.
Yeah, but you're assuming that Thrawn is going to outspeed the other team, right? Because you can still... The whole team is probably going to revolve around the speed of your Sith Assassin. So you're getting back into the speed game, and it's Sith Assassin faster than Darth Revan.
That's awful enough. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't think about that, yeah.
These teams are going to be creeping over 400 into the 450 speeds, which will be the first teams in history that all run over 400 speed. It's nuts.
That's so dumb. Yeah.
Do you think that means that we might be able to get our teams now to go before, like, the second time that Phoenix go in those stupid events where they get full turn meter and go a second time and ignore everything? Maybe we can actually have a team that goes before they go the second time. And all those stupid assault battles and freaking other quests. I hate those things. Laziest thing ever. Just give them full turn meter and 500,000 speed and let them go again. Just that. All right. Any other thoughts on? So the other part too, if someone wants to comment on it, is that they also said that HK and Fallen Bastila reworks, well, more so a rework for HK, kind of an addition for Fallen Bastila, were all coming after the Revan event. So those are all getting delayed as well. And there's a huge change to HK's leader, which we all expected because they said they were going to give the refund and all that, but we actually saw that during this past week. Is anybody else sad about the HK rework like I am, because I really loved his leader ability?
Yeah, I'm going to miss his droid synergy, but I think he's going to be pretty awesome with this new team. AoE tenacity down, I'm in. I'm in. You say, you changed my mind.
Well, with Revan,
my HK is super happy about the rework because he's Gear 5. So he's good with this. He's happy. He's looking forward to being gold, getting some love.
All right. So we have a lot of questions.
Yeah, you know me. I'm looking forward to using my East Coast against HK, right? But no, in all seriousness, listening to what you guys are saying, this power creep, it's been happening for a while. Obviously, I think like CLS could maybe be the first like truly overpowered for his time. But look at him now, like he's pretty much obsolete in arena. I mean, you can still use him to win on offense. And then Traya was on a whole nother level. So they had to come up with something to counteract that, hence the Jedi Knight Revan there. But you can win on offense against him with quite a few different combinations. So I'm expecting it'll be the same with Darth Revan. He's not going to be unbeatable. You're going to be able to take him down with different things. So I'm thinking we'll have a little variety in arena once he's thrown in there. Like I've been theory crafting with people. Our guild has been theory crafting. I mean, there's some pretty insane stuff to this team, but that's how they've been rolling with it for a while now. This is nothing new. It's always new, crazy new kit after crazy new kit. So, but again, I'm expecting some fun counters to occur from this after reading everything, and so we'll see. I mean, it's we can only wait. We've read, we can theory craft like crazy, but we have to wait until this is actually in the game so we can test different things out. And of course, modding will be everything too. But I don't know. I'm not as doom and gloom as everyone else seems to be. I don't know.
Hey, it's not just us. It was doom and gloom by CG so much that they delayed the release. So, just gotta say.
Well, I mean, there's so many theories for that delay, though. I mean, there's a lot of reasons.
Is broke did it.
Well, just so you know, there are people out in the community that are beta testers that are very, very, very close with the team. And I will just say through the fact that there are people out there that know there are characters hitting and one-shotting fools on round 2, and that can't happen, and they know it, and so they've delayed. So I could be wrong, but I am 99% sure I'm right. And I was the same kind of, yay, things will be fun. We're going to do fine. Watch my video. I'm like, yeah, COS will do it, blah, blah, blah. You know, and it's like, no, nothing is going to beat it. Nothing right now is going to beat it, which is why it can't come out, because there's nothing on in the game that's going to be, because of the way they've coded all of the things. They've shut down virtually every counter. And to that, Jedi Knight Revan counters, I mean, most of Jedi Knight Revan counters don't work well consistently. Be honest, if you guys are in the highest end guilds, your counter to that, there's like two different options. That's it. And they have to be super modded in a super extreme way. And their abilities still work. They haven't had their abilities shut down. Think about trying to use a Traya counter and not having her isolate. You wouldn't be able to win against Revan. If you had your Thrawn option, but he didn't have his fracture, you wouldn't be able to win. This is the issue, I guess, that I'm having with it, is instead of building some really fun, creative, offensive powerhouse kit, it shuts everything else down by just overriding. And I don't like that. I think every unique ability can be unique. I think corrupted battle meditation is awesome. Why make it, where it overrides? Like, that just doesn't make sense for the unique debuffs. The unique debuffs should always be able to continue to be applied versus the non-unique. I don't know.
No, that all makes sense. So we have a lot of questions that are in here, so we'll go ahead and get started. But first, I have to ask a question that is on people's mind first before we get into this. T-Money, I'm sorry, but I have to ask. How is Unleashed T-Money going to answer questions differently than regular T-Money on Jedi Academy?
No, the leash just comes off in certain situations, Finn.
Oh, okay.
So the leash is always on. Is what you're saying. And it comes off on occasion.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
All right. So let's get into.
Yeah. If you keep on with that, it might come off. So.
Oh, so we have a chance to see. I don't know if I'm scared or titillated to see Unleashed T-Money. All right. So let's get to the first question. First question for Warrior from Apropos Wooin. Question for a developing account. Would it be better to go for C-3PO or Darth Revan? Currently got similar prep done for both.
I would say C-3PO, because you can get the Ewoks far easier, faster, and they're going to be in easier gear. There's only 2 of the Ewoks that are relatively difficult to gear, but you can start to farm them immediately. In fact, on my free-to-play account, 2 months old, I already have 3 of the Ewoks to like 3 stars, and I'm not even trying. And that includes Wicket. So they're much easier to get to. And then when it comes to the much harder Darth Revan, those characters, most of them I can't even access yet, even though they're free-to-play. The nodes are too high for where I'm at in the game. And then the few nodes I have access to, their drop rates, like you get 1 a day. Which would take a year. So I might as well focus on other characters I can get in 3 to 4 months that will benefit me greater, give me greater reward, that will then allow me to talk about those other characters faster when I'm ready for those farms. So yeah, definitely C-3PO over Darth Revan.
All right. Really good old Maurice. You know what? I'm going to give good old Maurice's question to T-Money. So T-Money, you have a question from good old Maurice. So, question from good old Maurice. There's a gold mod in shipments that's a speed set, protection primary with speed, defense protection, and crit chance. Yay or nay? So what are your thoughts on that mod and then buying mods in general for mod shipments?
Say it again. Speed, defense, what?
Defense percent and crit chance. It's a speed set gold mod in shipments with protection primary.
I'm missing one. I've got the secondaries. I've got speed, defense percentage, flat defense, and critical chance.
Correct.
What's the speed number?
I'll buy it. Let's move on. I'll buy it.
This is how I have to handle him all the time.
There is way too much content to talk about.
I just drone on and tell.
It does bring up a good question though, and we've seen this question a lot on some of our other streams too. So, what are your thoughts on buying mods from shipments, and what are your criteria for buying mods from shipments?
I rarely buy them out of there. I farm most of mine.
Question for Team Money. Good on Maurice. It was your question,
Sorry,
but it's
you're asking me.
I think it really depends. If you're a day one player, if you were here when mods first came out and were able to farm mods at that time based on where your account was, you're at a different place with your roster. Or if you farmed mods really hard, in the beginning of you coming into this game. For me, I still look in the shop. I'm still building up my inventory. I think maybe 3 months ago, I had about 150 mods that were 10 speed and more. And now I have 265. So I'm still, I had to take a break for all the Darth Revan farming because it was so intensive. Now I'm back on to all of the refreshes up to 200, not including 200 a day with the salvage and going back to actually farming in the store, in the whatever it's called, like where you farm mods and get all the white ones and then have to level them up. But I do look in the store all the time. If I've got, lots of crystals, I'll refresh the store until I get something that I like and roll it or a couple things. So I do, it's no secret that we believe really strongly in having tons of mods for the amount of characters that you have, and you need to go into the store and invest, I think, if you're gonna do that. Some people disagree. It's probably cheaper to just farm mods, but I don't know.
Yeah, what level do you
buy
think
at the store?
Yeah, I mean, what level? Because you're obviously, I know you spend money in the game a little bit, and you're a little bit farther along. So at what point do you think it is worth it to do that? Like all those refreshes and stuff? Because that does seem a lot more late game, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple of amazing rosters come into the guild that are quite low GP, lots of Gear 12 tunes, and way more mods than me. Those are pay-to-play accounts, but there's folks right now who have kind of shifted over, who are free to play and just have a huge focus on mods. So, it depends. If you're really focus farming your characters, you need less credits. You can build up more credits. If you're late game, you've got, 50 million credits is not uncommon for someone in the late game. For me, I never have any credits. So it's, it just kind of depends on the budget of your account, really.
All right. Next question for Xylo Takedown. So this is a question from Fat Tony. And caveat again, there can potentially be some changes coming up with the kit. But the question that Fat Tony has for you, Xylo, is what do you think about McMole's Zeta and modding guide for Darth Revan? Do you think it's a good baseline for now?
Well, I haven't watched it, to be honest. I mean, I am a huge YouTube buff. Like, I watch everybody here on the panel, of course, and a lot of other content creators from top to bottom. But I mean, if that's the only preparation guide out, I mean, it's something to reference. So content's always good to reference for sure. And McMole's, a veteran player, been here for a long time, former game changer as well. Great knowledge to the game with the raids and everything too. And he's put out a lot of other Zeta guides before too. And he's got a good mindset for the game and has some good speculation too, because he definitely spends a lot of money in the game too. And
well, I know you reviewed the kit, Xylo. So what are your thoughts on how to mod Darth Revan?
Well, I mean, it's obviously like speed and potency. I mean, a debuff heavy team. It's going to be an arena meta team, so speed, right? And maybe a little additional offense on some of the other characters like HK and Fallen Bastilo is definitely going to be a potency character still. And I mean, we've already had her modded for like speed and potency, so you're good there. It's just going to be like switching your arena mods over to her and the new team and kind of incorporating what arena mods you do already have. Your 60s that you've already sliced up. And I guess obviously with Trooper, health or protection, tenacity, defense, any of the new stats with mods and 60s and everything like that. There's a lot of variety, like with the way we've seen Traya. You can mod her a lot of different ways to hold a lot on defense. So Sith Trooper, obviously the tank, and I mean, with Assassin speed and potency, she's going to want to be the fastest character from what we've seen in the kit, like we were all referencing earlier, and she's pretty broken with that aspect, so they're going to have to tweak her mechanics a little bit if they don't want the team to go in there and smoke anybody in like 30 seconds, right?
Yeah. So,
but I definitely, using McMull's Zeta guides, or until we at least get our hands on the characters, hold your Zetas and don't just go throw them on all the other characters. Of course, the 3 on Revan will be important, but gonna have to be very descriptive with the text and see how they finalize the tweaking, right?
Yeah. All right. Next question for good old Maurice, and question from David Rodriguez. With Darth Revan coming, how can they make Resistance relevant since Episode 9 is coming this year? Seems like Rey Jedi training and her team are awful without their foresight.
Well, I guess you've already got a character that's faster than Sith Assassin, right? They've got a faster facilitator, if you will, with BB-8. Probably make R2 if you really wanted to faster. I don't know. It's got to be some. Golly. I mean, it's tough. Like, it's got to be like a buffing character. Like, because you really can't debuff. Like, your traditional Finn team isn't going to work because every time you expose Darth Revan, he's just going to get faster and faster and faster. You know, so I mean, I don't know what they need. I mean, I guess they need. It's going to take some. Like what Warrior mentioned, like this team was released to beat the previous meta, right? But the previous meta was built to beat the previous meta, and so on down the line. So I mean, you're going to have some sort of Resistance character that has a new buff, a new fracture, a new isolate, some sort of new mechanic that trumps this mechanic. Because that's what these are. These are just the metas revolve around a single mechanic that's broken, right? And so there's going to have to be a new one, I guess, like a new mystery mechanic that renders everything else in the game useless.
A new Rey.
She is a journey, so it is quite possible they give her another leg to the journey. Yeah. All right.
Oh, so it's tough. It's tough. I don't know.
All right.
Just wait for Sith Rey, because that's what's going to happen.
All right. Next question for Ramon from Darth Scion 1972 says, question, at what point does CG need to reevaluate the older characters due to Revan and Darth Revan? It isn't fun when 50% of my roster is only available as a counter against a small number of teams.
Well, I think that they are constantly doing that, but I think that there's definitely, like we discussed earlier, some kits that are super outdated and completely unusable, but they found other ways to make them needed in other areas, right? So what they've done since a couple of years ago is found a way to incorporate every single character in the game, with the exception of like Coruscant Underworld Police and some other characters here and there, Mob Enforcer, but there's a need now for Plo Koon, right? Like in ships. So they found a way to make the Geonosians needed for ships. So it's just what they did is if they're not going to be arena viable characters that you need to gear 12 for arena, they're going to be ship viable characters that you need to gear 12 for ships. So and that's kind of the way they're doing it. So not every character is going to be meant to be capable of handling the meta in arena against, let's say, a Darth Revan or a Jedi Knight Revan. They're going to try to find alternative uses for some of these characters in other areas, so that you have to still get them to gear 12, because they know that ultimately that's the most the best way for them to make money is for everybody to be forced to kind of gear all their characters, the whole roster, to gear 12. They don't want to just have it be where the top end of your roster is all you're worried about. They want everything to be incorporated, and I think they'll continue to do that over time, with, of course, reworks that come out and things like that. But for the most part, I mean, you've seen the most recent reworks and some of the reworks in the past. I mean, occasionally there's a gem that comes out, like Han Solo or something like that, where they just do the right thing to the character, and adding a Zeta to him makes him now usable in a lot of different teams. But even if they reworked Plo Koon tomorrow or Mace Windu tomorrow, they've already reworked Mace Windu like 2 times, and over the course of time, and it's never worked. So now they are better now at making characters and doing reworks. So if they just straight up had a new Jedi meta, let's say, Jedi Luke comes out next year, and they decide to rework Mace Windu and they start from scratch and, make his kit, something really sweet and special. Sure, some characters like that may see, the light of day again. But I think some of the characters that are down there are going to probably stay down there and just have different uses. I don't think they're going to make, certain characters. I don't think Gamorrean Guard's ever going to be an arena viable character ever, So I think that, maybe some of the characters that we really want.
Take that back.
Maybe some of the characters that we really want, like Mace Windu, will eventually get like a full, just overhaul and to kind of go in accordance with the new meta. Like maybe the clones eventually will all get an overhaul so that they're all usable again at some point. But do I ever think that they'll be, upper echelon, like the clones will be just tearing down the arena, like let's say Darth Revan or Jedi Revan? I don't think that'll ever happen. I think it'll be somewhere similar in like the ballpark of like the General Grievous rework, where they're okay and they'll be usable, let's say in Grand Arena or TW as like, let's say a secondary or a third level team, third tier team. But I don't think they'll ever be, atop the meta. I think most of the reworks are generally slated so that you can find some use for the characters, whether that be for for regular arena style gameplay or ships, and then they want you to focus on the meta coming from them through new characters that are coming into the game, and that's going to always be the case.
All right. So let's go to the next question for King Felix. And the question is from Slama MC, and he asks, for Darth Revan mirror matches in Arena, how important will it be to have the fastest Sith assassin?
Oh man, we have no idea. Most likely it's going to be everything to do with the mirror match. But and I'm of the opinion that they're reworking something, maybe not with his kit, but with his stats or how he interacts. Because everything that I've read and seen from him is going to be ridiculous. But if it is how it is right now, your Sith Assassin is going to have your Enfys Nest plus your BB-8 mods. She's going to need all 6 of your fastest speed mods just to try and go first. But I'm hoping that they change a little bit something with the kit or the base speed so we don't have to get back into that who goes first meta.
All right.
Sounds like your dog thinks the same thing.
Yes.
My dog's being a brat right now. There's people outside.
Oh. All right. Well, we'll go to the next question from Miss Jedi Master Adastra. And the question is from Fat Tony 99. And the question is, just got 7-star Traya last raid. First one in his guild to do so. So congratulations, Fat Tony 99. I was wondering, where do I use her in the Heroic Sith raid now, and who are the 5 on the team for her in the raid?
Yeah, congratulations. Very nicely done. You will be able to destroy a lot of stuff. It's most common to use her in phase 2. You can do a lot of damage there. I mean, she can technically be used in any phase, actually, but phase 2 is where you'll get the most damage from her. And so there's a few different teams you can actually run. It kind of depends what else you're using. And like, for example, Hermit Yoda is often used with her to up the damage output. But if your Hermit Yoda, if he didn't escape, if say you ran Revan or you ran Bastila or anything else that uses Hermit Yoda and he didn't escape, then you have to use something else. But if you have him, he's definitely the next one you want on the team if you have him available. And then, of course, you have Sion and Bien, that those two are her buddies. So you have them on there to get, Sion will dish out some good damage. Bien can get those annihilates off. And then Sith Marauder, if you have him. Some people still don't. So if you don't have him, but he's the next go-to if you do, because he can deal a lot of damage. Against raid bosses, he ignores armor, I believe. So his damage output, he's the heavy hitter on that team if you have him there. Like, he's able to do over 1 million damage on his own, potentially. So that's the main lineup. one of the main lineups: the Triumph, Hermit Yoda, and Sith Marauder. But if you're missing Sith Marauder, you can plug in other characters there. If you have Thrawn available, for instance, if you didn't run him with your Beast Mode team, you can plug him in there. You can plug in another Sith, like I've experimented with that. Like you can put in, I did like Sith Assassin once just to try it, Sith Trooper for extra protection. So you have a few options for those slots. Even, yeah, that's kind of the main ones though. Yeah.
All right. So let's go to the next question. Back to the top to Mr. Warrior. And the question is from Thomas Rodriguez. And the question is, finally getting around to my Nightsister team. And I'm wondering, what is the best Nightsister team for PvP defense, not including Nest? Thanks.
Best Nightsister team, pure Nightsister team for PvP, for any kind of PvP for defense. And I would say that it would be Asajj Ventress lead, because it creates an ungodly amount of damage and speed for the team that needs to be had. With, of course, Mother Talzin, Old Daka, and the zombie. And then for the fifth, for the best PvP would be Spirit, Little Greenie. She is amazing. She can dispel, stun. She can hit for 35k pretty easily. She hits for truer damage. So it's just, she, in my opinion, for PvP is like the total MVP. People see Nightsisters, they have a plan. They're like, this is exactly the team I'm going to take in. I win every time. And then they go in and they don't realize who the fifth is. They don't care because they're like, I can beat Nightsisters. And then all of a sudden they lose on offense. And they're like, what the heck happened? They don't maybe put two and two together, but, you know, the Spirit was there just racking their team. So that's the one I always use if I was going to go on defense, but it's also the one I use when I go on offense with that team, because she is so MVP when it comes to chewing through the team.
All right. There you go. Next question. T-Money, I saw you addressing this question a little bit, so I'll give it to you now. Question is from Potpourri, or Potpourri, however, Paparazzi. Question is, I place at the top of both my arenas and I am free to play 3.5 million GP. Should I be doing just 350 crystal mod refreshes a day, or the 100 crystal mod refreshes too, which can shrink my crystal hoard?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm in a little bit of awe when it comes to pure free-to-play players. So this, it's, you know, you probably know best, because free-to-play players, when I've talked to them, they're able to stack up this massive crystal hoard. I do think that right after Darth Revan, we might have like a little bit of a lull where we don't have a lot of things to invest in. Maybe Darth Malak is coming. Who knows? Who knows what's coming next? There's the new Resistance cartoon. Maybe we're going to get some characters from that. It kind of feels very, Phoenix-esque. We might get like a little drop of tunes from there. Not sure, but you really know best. I think maybe get your crystal hoard up to 20 or 30,000 K, and then kind of make an assessment of what to do. If you're getting to the top of your arena, maybe compare your mods to other folks at the top there and see how you compare. A lot of times for Grand Arena, which is a great source of resources. I mean, it was maybe not so much now, but if you're winning in Grand Arena, the difference really between my roster and other people's rosters is often they'll have their Darth Revan might be as fast as mine, their CLS might be faster, they've invested kind of into a few teams, but then their mods drop off. So, and that's how I can kind of get an advantage there. So, you want to look at the quality of your mods and also the quantity. Whenever people are farming, good old Maurice and I disagree on this. I think it's just because of how we entered the game and the fact that he's been farming mods wisely for so long. But he's like, quality over quantity. I'm like, no, just get as many mods with 10 or more speed. Really, it's 15 or more speed as you can. And then from that kind of pool of mods, then start looking for your gems that have, great flat health and double offense and, those sorts of things to kind of, and slice them and bolster them sort of thing. So that's, free to play, best. But, my understanding, which I've never, ever in my life, I don't think I've ever bought a vault, maybe one vault. I don't even know how many crystals are in a vault, to be honest. But I'm kind of the one that buys like the $10 pack. So I don't know what it's like to have 20 or 30,000 crystals, but that's kind of the baseline for free to play so that you can respond to whatever's coming next.
You with 20,000 crystals is dangerous.
Yeah, that would be me one night being like, I don't know, the world seems so awful. I'm just going to buy a bunch of stuff on my account.
Yeah, it would not end well.
A 4-minute stream on how to blow 20K crystals with you, buddy.
All right. Next question for Xylo Takedown. This is a question for, and I apologize if I butcher the name here, Leonardo Demaculingen. And the question is, do you think Arena will be rock, paper, scissors again?
Oh, that's probably a big no, because, we were all talking about it before the stream, and obviously right at the beginning of the stream, a little bit with some of the questions. Darth Revan's, gonna be the man. When Jedi Knight Revan came, there were some counters, but there's still no 100% counters for Jedi Knight Revan, and now here we are, Darth Revan. So he's going to be the man, and it's going to be hard to even find some counters right away, and we're going to have some fun with this.
All right. Let's see. Next question is for good old Maurice. And the question is, and this is from Jason Hommel. Question, are there any mods worth saving that don't have speed or offense secondaries on them?
Absolutely, but it depends on where you are in the game. That is very in-game stuff. If you're a newer player, or you're kind of mid-game, or I don't know. Let's say we'll just use the measurement of 3 million-ish. You probably need to be focusing on the offense, on the speed, on the arena type mods. And once your roster gets higher, like in the case of Bandor, Chewbacca, mods that don't necessarily have a bunch of speed but have double health and defense, those are very good for him. Any tank, like L3, you don't need speed on her. Just defensive oriented mods without speed aren't bad. You've got plenty of Sith troopers, L3s, any sort of tank really. Shore trooper bays, however you want to build those, they don't necessarily need the speed to be good. So most of those mods will probably be tank-like mods, but you're always going to need. Well, I guess that's offense. So yeah,
okay.
I would kind of save anything that has double health, double protection. Like a health primary with health. Maybe hold on to some of those for the long term, but don't go crazy with it.
All right. Next question for Mr. Ramon Azab. And sorry, I am incapable of creating all these nicknames like Ranger does as quickly as he does. So I'm just.
It's quite impressive.
Yeah, it really is.
Not my style.
Yeah, on the spot, he's so good at that. Just leaves random.
I think every stream we ask him, "Do you have all these written down ahead of time?" Nope.
Yeah,
if
I was
a
to
master
do that
list.
Yeah, I would literally have to go to a website that just create random adjectives here, and then you would just end up with the weirdest thing for all of you guys. So yeah, so definitely not able to do that. So Ramon, question from RSG Vormax. He says Sith Trooper's kit is based on him being tanky, mostly due to his high defense. So he may not be that good on a Darth Revan team. Do you agree with that? I think Darth Revan team would end up being Bastila, HK-47, Sith Assassin, and Sith Marauder.
Until I really, sit down and look at it, I can't tell you yet. But I'll tell you that, he did get the faction tag for Sith Empire, and there are certain bonuses from the Revan leadership that he'll get that other characters won't. So I think that alone makes him kind of a nice piece. Plus, he's also the only tank on that team. So I kind of feel like you're going to want to have a tank. So, plus he pre-taunts and, he's able to, bypass protection. So, I mean, I think that there's a lot of bonuses to having him on the squad. My question would be, I mean, what would be the alternative? Do I think that they'll find alternatives after testing for a while? Yeah. I think there'll probably be some different options, maybe another Sith, but the kit is kind of geared to be the way I kind of thought it was going to be. And that's that, any other Sith, Palpatine, Traya, Nihilus, and Nihilus may very well be that other Sith. I mean, to have Annihilation on your team with Darth Revan may be just the trick. I think that there can't be a situation where Nihilus doesn't work on a team. So maybe there's more bonuses or benefits to having Nihilus on the team than there is to having Sith Trooper. But overall, I think to start, the baseline will be, either them. No, actually, is Sith Trooper getting the Sith Empire tag, or is it just Sith Assassin and Sith Marauder?
Sith Trooper is those
Sith
three.
Okay. So maybe Sith Marauder will be a better option. I mean, again, it's going to go through testing. What was the exact question again? It was based on his health.
He's saying that Sith Trooper is based on him being tanky with his high defense, so he doesn't think it's going to be a good character on that team. So he thinks Assassin and Marauder would be the other two with Dark Side Bastila and HK-47.
Yeah, and you may very well be right. I feel like you're going to want to have a tank. And this is just me thinking traditionally. Like the way you want to put together a team composition in this game. But I think you're going to want to have a tank in there. So I think Sith Trooper kind of provides that role for you. But this is also a team that's got so many different working pieces with it that. I mean, you may not need a tank, I mean, you can't stick debuffs on the team. You can't there's a lot of things that aren't going to be able to really work. I mean, I don't even think you can damage Revan. You're not even allowed to hit him, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what compositions are the best, but and it may be something out of the box, kind of like I said, like with Nihilus, but the way the kit was made was so that these 5 or 6 characters are the specific characters that are going to be used with Revan. The other Sith aren't going to really synergize with him. So, and I mean, Revan will gain bonuses from Traya because he does have the Sith tag. But so on Traya team, Revan will be able to be a support character, but Revan's leadership is going to be so overpowered that you're not going to be able to run a Traya lead in arena. So, I think it's a safe bet that Sith Trooper will still have his place there. But, obviously, until we do some testing and try out the characters and see which combination works best, I'm not ready to write off Sith Trooper for Sith Marauder yet until I see Sith Marauder do some things out there.
All right. So next question to King Felix. Question is from Darth Scion 1972. Question, do you think CG should release some more PvE content? I enjoy Grand Arena, but it seems the game has tilted to PvP with Territory Wars, Grand Arena, etc. Thoughts on what PvE we could see?
Well, I halfway agree, but the other times when CG has released more PvE centric characters, they've pretty much been insulted. This character got a rework. Well, I can't use him in arena, so what good is he? Because the standard is PvP for this game. PvE is you're taking your old arena teams and just turning them into raid teams, essentially. I'm all for getting... Not every character has to be arena meta. And I thought the General Grievous rework was fine. He's not the arena meta we thought, or some people thought he was going to be. But... he still works decently in Grand Arena. Even without the Zetas, I can still get a team with my Gear 9 B1 battle droid and things like that. But I think they were trying to go that route with some teams they got with the Django rework. Aura Singh and Embo. Aura Singh is simply a raid character. And I think they got a lot of backlash for that. So I think they kind of stopped with that whole idea. And now they're just doing arena and grand arena type of character.
Yeah. All right. So next question we have is for Miss Jedi Master Adastra. And this is a question from 10 Bears. And he says, how does one decide where to place their Gear 12 Plus pieces?
Oh, good question. I remember when it came out, that was something I lamented on for a while, because it's like these pieces just add so much to a character, but they are not easily obtainable. So it's like, yeah, you got to be very careful so they don't go to waste. So my initial thoughts, arena. Basically look at the most important areas for you. So your arenas, pretty much, that's your source of income. That's, you would say you don't fall down a lot. But that's what I did. I worked on maxing out my arena team right away, just so I could continue to compete with my shardmates. My shard is very competitive, so it was kind of like a race with my shardmates to see who could G12 plus their characters first. But beyond that, because some are more useful than others for certain characters, like certain ones, all you're caring about is the speed, because unfortunately speed is still the most important thing in this game. But a piece like the G12 plus furnace, like I think that is probably one of the best. I mean, they're all good, but that one, it adds an insane amount of health. So that one, you kind of want to see what character would benefit it from it the most. Like a character that you're actually using, though. Like don't just throw it on someone random. So look at your arena team first if anyone needs it. But beyond that, then you can look at the next game mode that's important to you. So it could be territory wars, it could be the raid. But with the raid, at least, you can still put up high scores without having to max out the characters. So I didn't see that as important. But you could be all about the raid. So you could focus, on your characters for that. Like Nightsisters, they have all those awesome pieces that you could put on. So like kind of go about it as pragmatically as possible. Like you could fill out a certain faction, for instance, to just really strengthen them. So like Nightsisters, for example, I use them to defeat everything. Like they can defeat Revan, but you need some good mods, some good gear on them. So the G12 Plus help them to be more consistent powerhouses. So it just really comes down to your priorities in the game. Like what are you most focused on? And then you can kind of analyze from there the different characters that'll benefit. So again, the health. So like what characters need the health or can really go off of it for the furnace to have the best home for it. Because again, while speed is important, you still want to look at those other secondaries too to really benefit that character. And especially if you only have a few of these G12 Plus available, and it's hard again because acquiring them is kind of RNG, with the raid obviously, but you never know what you're gonna get. You could just keep getting the same thing over and over. But I think I sidetracked there.
You drilled that question. That was awesome. That was a good answer. Yeah.
Really quick, shout out to Jake Lucas, $2 donation in the super chat, and he said drink. Yeah, that's I won't even try. We have a $2 donation. Got the donation train running. That's all I can do. I love Urza. Okay, thank you very much for that, Jake.
And real quick, I gotta get going, you guys. So,
Okay, before you go, I had one fun question saved for you. So, Adastra, this is a question from Durgan. And he says, will you have CG push back the date of Darth Revan release again so Jedi can continue to rule the galaxy longer?
Hi, Durgan. So yeah, Jedi forever, man. I don't mind this delay for Darth Revan. I mean, you could wait another month. You're okay with that, right? So people can farm it up more and acquire him. Another month is just fine.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Jedi Master Adastra. I know you have to head to work, so we appreciate you being on the panel, and I'll pimp your stuff at the end of the stream too.
All right, have a good one, everyone. Take care.
All right, we will go back to the top of the order here, and we have a lot of questions coming in about Darth Revan, and people are worried about his kit being overpowered. So, Warrior, the next question for you is from Leonardo, again, I apologize, Demaculangan, and he says, honestly, do you guys see any counters to Darth Revan when he comes out?
So we've already answered this, but yeah, I currently had theory crafted 2 alternate teams that I thought would do well enough to win on offense, and after the FAQ came out online, it basically shut everything down. The only 2 characters that are basically unaffected that I can see that are unaffected, that are actually going to benefit greatly from this new team is, Boba Fett, his execute, and Darth Vader and Colleen Blade. Those are the only 2 because they're going to benefit from all the debuffs, and each one is considered a debuff. So it's going to give them that craziness. And so an Emperor Palpatine lead, because of all the expiring, debuffs on the opposing side, because they're built to expire intentionally. Like, it's designed to evolve. Things are designed to evolve. And so I could see an Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, Boba Fett. Like, the meta I'm fighting on my 2-month-old account is probably going to have to come back, because those are the characters that are least affected by this change. But a lot of the characters such as Traya and Thrawn and, these like go-to plug-and-play characters that we would normally use, I don't see working. But, an Emperor Palpatine, Boba Fett, Darth Nihilus, Darth Vader, and then probably Sith Trooper, something that has an auto taunt with Sith to kind of take the heat off for like 1 round to allow you to kind of, instantaneously kill someone. I don't know, but the truth is there's not a whole lot out there. And normally when they bring a character out, they provide some stock footage to someone, even whether it's Game Changers or just the flat out community, like, hey, here's some footage. They didn't even do that this time around. Like, nothing. Like, you're buying a character with no notion of actually what it will do, good or bad. Like, you don't have the speed stats. You don't have the health and protection stats. This will be the first time in history they've brought a character out with you completely and utterly buying blind. And when I say buying, I mean you're using your in-game currency no matter what. So that currency, whether it was purchased with real money or earned, is yours, and you're going to have to waste it on these characters to gear and star them, and you don't even know what you're gearing and starring for, which has never in history happened, which is nerve-wracking, because if it's that powerful, they can't even show footage. There's an issue, and if they do show footage and it ends up being way bigger than it is, and they have to dial it back, then they've falsely advertised. And so there's like this huge conundrum they have, which is why they probably just didn't bring out footage. Because they don't want to show something that they have to nerf. But that also is worrisome because, how powerful is it that they can't even show current footage right now? So I don't know. I really hope, Darth Revan's going to have like a 10,000 health pool at Gear 12 plus for it to be viable, to have other people be able to hit him, because you can't, multi-hit him. So even like Han Solo, when he does his double tap, they've rewritten it. They rewrote it just yesterday, that it no longer says bonus turns, calls to assist, but now actually says any additional turn past your first, or any additional movement past your first. So even his Zeta, Han Solo Zeta, has been rendered useless. He does not get to take that extra turn, that extra shot. So they clarified that. So there's so much that has been utterly, destroyed through their kit. They're like, well, what do we do about this? What if they use this as a counter? And they go, well, let's just put it in that it's not possible. Well, how do you deal? Let's just make it immune to it. Okay, well, that's just, I don't know. That just seems lazy in the coding, because I know you want it to be powerful, but you also need it to have an Achilles heel. Every kit should have strengths and should have inherent weaknesses built in. And I'm hoping that they've got some significant backdoor weakness that we don't know about yet. Currently, Darth Vader and his culling blade seem like the best option, and that's just crazy that is like our only hope is Darth Vader and his culling blade, and even then we don't know how that's going to end up playing out. So I wish there was some footage so we could have a little bit more ability to speculate on how it's going to play out and stuff, and so this is part of it, right? If you don't give people information, they freak out and it's like mass hysteria. This is what happens in real life as well. If you do something or say something and you don't give concrete proof about it, people just freak out and have mass hysteria, which is why you need to be upfront and forward with the information so people don't have that. It's just human behavior. So I wish we had something to go with it, but honestly, counter squads, I don't see the traditional squads that you would use with like Thrawn or Nest or anything really working.
All right. Next question, T-Money. I think this one you answered. If you want to summarize, and then I'll get another question for you too. This is a question from Ziglet. It says, question for T-Money. How do you farm mods? I know you talked about it a lot earlier. If you want to kind of just summarize quickly, and then I'll shoot another question for you. If T-Money unmutes. She might have been talking this whole storm while on mute.
I am. I was just interrupting people willy-nilly. And so, yes, thank you. So, it's hard for me to not be long-winded. Okay, so if I have other priorities, if there's characters that I need to farm quickly, I put mods on hold a bit and do the 350s. I will buy the mod energy if it comes out of the store if I'm on full farming mode. If not, it's not really worth it. I think it works out to about 125 crystals per refresh. I will farm two ways. I've kind of sliced everything I could possibly slice right now. I will buy in the store, mostly just impulsively because I kind of like it. Probably not the most efficient way to farm mods, but I will buy in the store. And unless there's something coming up, for instance, I'm counting on having 6.25 million crystals so that I can raise Darth Revan. Plus, I haven't done Ordo or HK yet, so I need some extra crystals for that. And then I'll farm mods like once a week. Just do get all of my refreshes, and then just go and farm like all mods. And right now I'm just working on speed mods. I still have my roster is kind of modded to be to have like individual characters in various teams with mega speed on them, and I don't have enough to go around right now. So I've for instance pillaged my Kylo Ren, and he only has 221 speed. He should have 240. So I'm trying to get more just speed set mods with speed secondaries.
Okay. And then we have I'll give you one kind of follow up, and it's another Darth Revan theory crafting question. Questions from Kai Bears 321. So welcome. I haven't seen him around in a while, so glad to see him back. Do you think Traya will be a good counter for Darth Revan?
I'm not sure. We really have to see the base speeds. I do think Thrawn is going to be. I'm hoping Thrawn will be important still. I mean, he has had his heyday, right? He's been in the meta for a long time now. Perhaps we're getting something else that is going to be as powerful as Thrawn has been for the community. I realized we were talking about passive buffs in our patron chat, and we came up with the fact that Thrawn basically sets a passive buff on characters when he goes from the speed buff to the ability block. But I just realized during the stream that the opposite, the squad can't be ability blocked, so that does not matter. So it's going to be very tricky. He's certainly lost a lot of his oomph, but he still has such a high base speed. Him and Nest, they can't control turn meter of the other team, but I think there's still lots that can be done. I think we're going to figure something out. My worry is that this bloody death mark, we're probably not going to be able to use Nightsisters, which has been a counter for almost every meta since the beginning of their rework. If our Zeta Finn is not there, that's a whole thing as well. He probably is not going to be able to be used. He may not have been able to be used anyway, but you know what I mean? Like they're like all of the kind of staples seem like they're out of the mix. So it's time for some new theory crafting. And if anyone thinks that this community can't break this game, you're wrong. We're going to find a way to get through this. We're going to find the counters. We're going to find the loopholes. It might, not happen the first couple of weeks, but it'll happen. We'll figure it out. Traya, I don't know. I'm not sure. If isolate can't be used, you're gonna need to have like a lot of speed on the team. Feed turn meter from Thrawn to her. It still seems like they're still going to be able to get ferocity even though they have isolate because it's a debuff and not a buff. So a whole bunch of dynamics in there.
All right. So I decided I'm going to give it a shot. So I have a random adjective generator. So next question is for Plastic Man Xylo Takedown. And the question is...
Plastic, what?
Yeah, that was what came up. All right. So question from Sean Ragnar the Red Kelly. And he says, question, I'm a huge bounty hunter guy. How do you guys feel about Django lead against Darth Revan? Might be really easy to get his contract off with them debuffing themselves. Thanks.
Yeah, we don't know. We need the character still.
Django's the answer.
Yeah, right. Django and all the Clone Wars bounty hunters, not even Bosk or anything like that. I mean, it's just we need the characters like T-Money was just referencing, like the characters with the really good speed mechanics. Django's definitely one of those, and we need the character first. We need to see, and we won't know.
All right.
I think if you just put Django alone against Revan, he'll get the.
Yeah, he'll solo it. He'll solo all 5 of them.
Oh my God, Ramon. I hope it comes up with a good adjective for you. The next one is for Bizarre Good Old Maurice. And the question is from Danilo Papayas. He said, when Sith Bomber and Sith Assassin ship got farmable, my gut told me about an upcoming Sith meta fleet, so I farmed Marauder until the only shards needed were the ones that I'll get from the login. What are your thoughts on a potential Sith event?
You talking about like a Sith ship meta?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily a meta, but like possibly a meta, but also maybe a new ship coming, capital ship, something like that may utilize ships. Sith ships.
I think it's very feasible that we get something with those ships. Because those bounty hunter ships, with the exception of Houndstooth, they were kind of released underneath the radar, right? Like they just kind of slipped in Xanadu Blood with a huge update. They kind of slipped in, the IG 2000, on the same night as something else that was huge in the game. They kind of did the same thing with these Sith ships. They just kind of slipped them in under our noses. No one really paid them much attention. It could be a Sith capital ship. Could be, maybe a missing piece to the Sith fleet that we don't have. I'm always so nervous about saying these Sith ship. Yeah. Could be. The ships are really, really good. They actually have some uses in the game. It's just no one really has the characters and the ships maxed out yet, so I think you'll be pleased with your investment at some point. Maybe not today, but maybe sometime soon.
All right. Next question for Gabby Ramon Azab. I actually kind of like that one. That one kind of fits. All right. Ramon question from Paparazzi. Question, what is a good quote-unquote budget Separatist team for free-to-play players, meaning that I don't have to get everyone to Gear 12 and all of their Zetas?
I mean, there isn't one. But...
pretty much.
And when you do find one, they're going to nerf Newt Gunray, so that's science right there.
I mean, there used to be a no. I mean, no matter what team you get, they're all going to be super squishy, you know. So it's like you need to be at tier 12 or tier 11 at least. And you know, obviously, there's the new Separatist team with Grievous. I'm sure he's looking to find something outside of that box. I really have no answer for you. I would say that you know, maybe you can compile some, you know, some hodgepodge team with like the Geonosians and maybe like it would have to be like a universal leader like Rex or something like that. You know, there's no real good leader for the Geonosians right now, other than I'd say IG-88, and that's not going to work either, because IG-88 also is very squishy. And so I would say, you know, if you put together maybe like a, and again, this would be you using Rex on this team instead of using Rex on probably a team that he would be better suited with. This would just be because you like want to use Separatist characters. Okay, but I mean, who else has a Separatist leader ability besides Grievous?
Dooku.
Asajj, but hers is more for Nightsisters though. But yeah, Dooku, Nuke Gunray, Grievous, and Poggle. If you want to try that.
Yeah. They're a very, very in-game team. You could build probably 2 solid Grand Arena teams for the investment you'd have to put into the droids to make them good. They're very, very good. They're very, very, very expensive gear and Zeta-wise.
Yeah. I think he's looking for something that's like free to play though. So what I'm saying is like I think again, like if you're just trying to use Separatist characters, I think you could use a universal leader, like let's say like a Rex, throw him down there with like a Sunfac, and maybe a really, really beefed up Geonosian soldier, you know, and possibly B2, and I mean, I want to say, you know, possibly either Geonosian spy or I mean, you could really pretty much insert any other Separatist character there. But I think that if you put that team behind, let's say, like a Rex, and you had a pretty decent, I mean, Sunfac is still decent. I mean, his kid is still okay. He still dispels with his basic, and he's got, you know, a taunt, and B2 can help you kind of, you know, dispel the other team. You know, you could still get some decent damage with a team that's got a lot of buffs with, let's say, like a Geonosian spy, and Geonosian soldier still calls in characters to assist. So, you know, again, is this going to beat meta teams? Probably not. But if you have like, let's say like a, you know, like a final team, let's say in GA that somebody threw in at the end because they put together some characters, or they have a low geared, let's say, Rebel Squad or something like that, you could probably figure out a way to win with that team. If you have the right mods on them and their gear. But again, if you're talking about like undergeared, they're all going to be squishy. So that's another thing. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to think of anything possible. That's all I can say.
I mean, at least Geos can be used in territory wars for this, right? And so, yeah, I mean...
Yeah, but you can't gear characters specifically for these bonuses.
You're getting them for the... They're repeating this one quite a bit, right? The Clone Troopers and Geos, this is what, the 3rd time now that this one's showing up? Right? Like
this is the last in this iteration, though, so we're not sure what's ahead.
But at least Geos are good for ships and stuff. So potentially, I mean, if she's looking for a team that utilizes them, at least there's some use for the Geos with ships, and then maybe for something like territory war.
Until Geonosian Queen or Geonosian Commander comes out, I would.
Dooku, the 3 pilots, and B1 is a suitable, okay team. That team's okay. I've run that in Grand Arena. That one's not bad.
And B1, you don't really need to gear up all the way.
No, not really.
Yeah.
By the way, paparazzi is a she, just so you know. You said he, Ramon. She's very upset now.
Well, I apologize for my misspeaking.
It's fine. We all say he kind of just as a neutral thing until we actually know. So it happens.
No. I say he because 99.9% of the player base is he. But for the she's out there, I'm sorry.
So with that, for all of you guys that are watching, please give us a thumbs up. And if you guys are liking this, we have more questions that we're getting through. But please hit that thumbs up if you guys do enjoy the stream. And we will move on to the next person. Definitely a he. And I like the adjective that came up. The Demonic Scissorman Warrior. And for Demonic Scissorman Warrior, the question is from Bradzo SWGOH. And he says, will we ever see a mechanic that nullifies the opposing leader ability if the attack or debuffs lands?
Well, anything's possible. While we were talking earlier today, the one thing that popped into my mind creatively that's not totally broken and overpowered, but would be a really great addition to the game would be some sort of a lockable buff that starts at the beginning of combat, where when combat launches, it makes you choose a character. You get to choose any one of your 5. You select it, and then that character cannot be impacted by any status effects at all. It can't be prevented. Any of its abilities can't be prevented, and any abilities that are trying to be attached to it can't be prevented, kind of thing. And what it would cause for you to be able to. It's not 5 characters. It's just 1. It allows for you to basically save Thrawn and allow for him to actually have his interactions the way they're supposed to, or save, Traya or someone. You could pick one person to kind of not worry about being totally and completely screwed over. I don't know what it would be called. I don't know which character would bring it into the game, but, call it salvation, for goodness sakes, because that's what we're going to need for this.
All right. And if you guys have questions, keep them coming in. We still have some time for you guys, but we also have somebody joining us. We have Mr. Mist Passier with us. Mist, you there?
What's up, man?
There we go. How you doing today, Mist?
I'm doing all right. I'm making breakfast right now, so there might be a little background noise.
We didn't get your thoughts on it. We've had a few questions about it here, so I'll let you kind of answer some of the general questions here that I've been holding. But what are your thoughts on Darth Revan and potential counters that you can see for Darth Revan?
I'm going to be dead honest. I haven't really done much thinking about it. I know that there are going to be, it's going to be hard. They're going to be immune to turn meter reduction, so that's going to be fun. They're going to be lightning fast because they're constantly going to be debuffing themselves. And every stack is 15 speed, so I think the only way to really beat them is to beat them off the line, and unfortunately Sith Assassin makes that very, very difficult. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
You seem very excited. I can feel it in your voice.
I mean, how you really feel.
All right.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, next question for Team Money. Question is from Talon Lee, and the question is, does shock stop health and protection gain from Bosk's leadership?
Yes. Yep. Sure does.
There you go. Have you tried it, and how has it been, if you've tried it at all?
Yeah, my favorite team, as long as, you have kind of 2 choices. I love using Darkside Bastila under Emperor Palpatine lead. Go ahead and use that this Grand Arena and Territory Wars. It might be the last time. If you're getting Darth Revan for a long time, it seems like him and Bastila are married to each other, pun intended. So basically you have to have your Emperor Palpatine very high potency to ensure that if somebody mods there. Bosk with very high tenacity, which you should. Super, super high speed and super high tenacity, over 100% tenacity, and you're just shooting for, he should be one of the fastest characters in your roster so that Imperial troopers can't get at them. Especially important if you have squishy characters on that team. So basically what you do is you take your Palpatine in and you put dots on everyone. Vader gets to go, feeds turn meter through his saber throw, and then the next move is usually a full-on stun. I have my Palpatine at about, I think, maybe 70-80% potency. So with his leadership, that's over 100%. And then you try and stun everyone. Maybe everyone gets stunned, maybe nobody gets stunned, and then your next move is just trying to get a shock on everyone so that Palpatine can just continue to go and go and go. It's really important to get ability block on Bosk or to stun Bosk because he will cleanse before he puts his taunt up. So even though shock will prevent a buff from happening on a character, he cleanses before he puts that up. So he'll just taunt anyway, unless he's got ability block or stun on him, or fracture, of course. So that team, especially if you have like a really nasty Bosk team, that team with Thrawn it's going to mow that over, no problem, even without a tank. Kill order is Boba, and then whoever else is most squishy, I gotta go for next, and I leave Bosk for last.
All right, and I forgot the adjectives. So Mist was the flashy Mist Passier, and then that was the spicy T-Money. And now we have one that I don't even know what it means, actually. We have the Quixotic Xylo takedown next. I have no idea.
I'll take that over plastic.
All right.
Plastic sounded like some sort of naughty industry name.
So the next question for you, Xylo, is from Victor McFarlane, and he says, would Bosk lead be useful versus Darth Revan? Bounty hunters would heal on auto debuffs. Issues are your tank is leader. Shock would stop healing.
Man, I love me some bounty hunters. Don't get me wrong. I just need to get Cad Bane, Zam, and Django to gear 12, and they're all gear 12. And it's just bounty hunters have a decent percentage of Jedi Knight Revan, but I don't see them doing anything against Darth Revan. It's so debuff oriented, and like T-Money was just mentioning, like Boss cleanse on his taunt. But other than that, like if you debuff that team like crazy, it's just sitting there waiting to get mowed over, basically. So it's like, that's why those EP teams work really well. Wampa goes in there, and after he stacks up enough damage, even works really well. So Dot team, DPS team works really well there too. So it's like, I don't know how it's going to fare against Darth Revan so well. I mean, maybe something with Django as like a magnet with his I'm sorry, with his
why is Ranger's apprentice crying?
He's not. He just wants my attention. He hears me talking on the microphone. He's like, Dad. But yeah, I mean, like with Django's damage immunity mechanics, it's always really interesting. And I mean, like we have to get the kits and we have to get the characters in hand to do the testing, and even then, that's very extensive testing. So,
all right. So next question for the pretty good old Maurice.
Can I get a redo?
You want redo? Okay.
I want a new one.
Let me redo. Okay, so we have the gaudy good old Maurice now. So we can just call you gaudy old Maurice now. So keep the same acronym. So question from Leonardo Dipmeculangan. Do you think CG made a huge mistake with Jedi Knight Revan? His kit was so OP it made all old characters useless and made the upcoming Darth Revan too OP in order to beat Jedi Knight Revan.
Every game has a power creep, right? But I think they did kind of, I don't know, they kind of pushed it a little too hard on the fast forward button, I think, with Jedi Knight Revan. And this one, I don't know, we talked at the beginning of the stream, this kit is delayed. They are delaying it. Hopefully they are toning it down to where something can beat it. I mean, this is like Warrior was talking about. This is unfortunately the kind of the route they're going. Like every new character is going to be like this, like the journey characters probably. So This is a trend that's probably going to last, so I would prepare for it. I don't know how to. I don't know if it was a mistake. I wouldn't call it a mistake because everyone sees how big, of a deal Jedi Revan is or was. So, people might be spending more, saving in advance, spending their crystals on this new Revan because they realize how important it is to get this OP character immediately. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's a mistake.
The new Luke is going to come out in 6 months, and the new Luke is going to say his leadership ability will say all characters under Luke's ability is immune from any effects or damage from Old Republic characters. Like that's where it's going.
Flip it, yeah. It's just
All right. So next question for Ramon Azab. I need an adjective. Abnormal Ramon Azab. The question for you, and we can go around the corn on this one too a little bit. So the question is Paparazzi, and she asks, what are some things you've learned from this latest batch of Grand Arenas?
Well, ma'am, I do want to say that I think that, the Grand Arena...
Go out of your way to say ma'am.
Yeah.
I think that you learned. I've learned what I learned every Grand Arena, and that's different ways to utilize the deeper parts of your roster. I recently started thinking about alternative teams, because the more you're kind of geared and ready for the current meta, the more you can kind of take a look a little bit, down your roster and try to figure out, ways to kind of put together some other squad compositions. And that's really what guilds are looking for ultimately, for TW and things like that, is for, people that have the characters. GP aside, the most important thing is that you have the right squad compositions to take out teams on offense and to put or set good teams on defense. And, Grand Arena is very similar in that, you're basically sometimes at the end, if you really want to set a good defense, kind of look into the back end of your roster to try to figure out some teams that can get the job done against some better teams. You want to be able to go in there with a team like that Rex team I was talking about earlier and take out a KRU, a crew team, I guess the things that I pick up from, every Grand Arena is, sometimes I test some of these teams out and I find a mixture that works. And it may not be traditional, because I may not have all the characters necessary to put together, let's say a solid, Imperial Trooper team or a solid, a solid Old Republic team yet. I may be able to put 3 or 4 of those characters out there, but the 5th character has to be some other character like a Nest or, like a B2 or somebody else that I have to throw in there because I don't have, let's say, T3 ready, or I don't have Canderous Ordo up to snuff yet to put him in that team. And, every, Grand Arena or TW, you kind of figure out some different workarounds for some of these characters. Sometimes they work and sometimes you fall flat on your face, but it gives you a testing ground for you to figure out some options for the future. And sometimes those options end up being and working out better than the more traditional or more popular ways that people go about it. So, that's really what I take away from every opportunity to do one of those events.
All right. So heading back to the top of the order with the Pleasant Scissorman Warrior, and the question is from Paparazzi, and question for Warrior: what takeaways from your pillar system would you say that more veteran players can use?
Priorities. I think that anyone can take a look at the pillar system and go, what do I have in pillar 1? And am I missing anything? And if you're missing something, you probably need to go back because those are critical pieces of the foundation of characters for the long term, and then go to pillar 2. And if you're good, and most people are going to go through and go, I got everything in pillar 1, 2, and 3. I'm missing 2 characters in pillar 4 and 2 characters in pillar 5. Great, now you have 4 characters to focus on. Go for it. Every character that's in there is super, super important and needed in every area of the game, and every character not in there is too specialized to matter for someone who's free to play or mostly free to play, or dolphin status, small dolphin status. So it's all about hyper focus, and it's just a suggestion. This farming system is designed to maximize efficiency, and I get this comment all the time on my videos. I mean, a lot of people love it. I get hundreds of I love your videos comments on the pillar system, but I do get the few pushbacks, and it's always the same pushback, and that is, Warrior, you're living it out. You're actually doing it on a free-to-play account. Your Scissorman account's free to play, but you are the best case scenario. It's not like anyone else could replicate those results. And so to that extent, that might be true, but it doesn't matter, because what I'm showing and what I've been trying to show is best case scenario. What can you accomplish not spending any money if you have the one thing that everyone lacks, which is knowledge? And that's what I'm putting out there. And if you haven't seen my video, then that's not on me. That's on you to go figure it out and put it to the test. But I'm putting it to the test, and I got first place in Arena yesterday and second place in Ships, and I've been in the top 10 since the first 2 weeks of playing. So it works. It works very, very well. It's very difficult. I knew it was really, really hard. I didn't realize, because it's been a while, how difficult training bots and things were. I remember thinking that I always had more than enough credits when I was free to play, at the very beginning, because I didn't have a lot I was focusing on. But see, now I am focused on a lot as free to play. So I've got lots of characters at level 50 because I just don't have the credits. So it's been fun for me because while everyone I know personally, all my personal best friends, they are all free to play, and they talk about the struggles and I hear them and stuff. It's just been really fun to experience it all over again. And in fact, my main account, very little fun. I have very little fun in my main account. I do it because it's there and there's money invested and it's part of YouTube, and I can make, videos on Grand Arena and things like that. The most fun I have, and the thing I look forward to every single day, is waking up and playing my Scissorman account and being efficient in my farming. And so looking back at the guide, I think that veteran players could look and see exactly where their deficiencies lie, if in fact they have any, and shore those spots up. I get people all the time that comment and say, why do you have, Veers and Range Trooper in, Pillar 1, or Stark and Range Trooper in Pillar 1? That doesn't make any sense. I don't even have them yet. I'm just thinking to myself, there's your problem. You're commenting that you've been playing for 3 years and you don't have 2 of the best Imperial Troopers. That's why I'm making the videos and you're not. So anyway, you can benefit by seeing what you're missing and go from there.
All right. And Mist, you ready for a question here? Make sure Mist is there.
Yep, sorry, I was muted.
There we go. All right, Mist. Question to you from Jared T. And he said, given all the stacks of debuffs, will Boba's Execute and Vader's Saber Throw be able to one-hit kill somebody on the Darth Revan team?
That's actually a very good idea. If you think about it, and I think it's, Ferocity is the buff, is going to be stacking like crazy, and it's going to be depleting your defense. I don't know if defense can go negative, but it most certainly can be reduced to 0. So I would definitely expect those 2 abilities to be absolutely bonkers.
All right. And quick shout out to Vigilant Sentinel, who donated $5 in the super chat. Said, had to take a break from the game, but I still like watching you guys more than playing the game. So thank you very much, Vigilant Sentinel. And also another $2 donation said, I had 150 million credits before quitting. So it's, yeah. Sorry that you had to quit earlier. I remember that. Oh yeah, and that was the abhorrent Mist Passier. And now we have a question for the Itchy team money. I don't know if I like Itchy. You want another one? Do you not want Itchy?
Yeah, I'll take another one. It's kind of insinuates something. So
yeah, so we'll say necessary. Necessary is the one that came up. So it's a necessary T-money. So question from Jon Snow. When does farming Karth from his hard node become too much versus buying him with crystals?
I have the exact answer to that. We have a resource that was created for us by our friend Waddles, and it's just a little spreadsheet. You can find it in the key resources on our Discord. I can post it actually. And basically, so his hard node is it a 16? Do you guys know? Is it a 16? I don't think it's a 20. I think it's a 16. So it's around like at the 100 energy refresh. Then it's pretty close to. It's getting at the second 100 energy node refresh. It's getting pretty close to shipments. I find Karth's node drops really sporadically. Like there's been ones that have dropped really regularly for me. I think a lot of people, Ordo, was just kind of like this bounty coming in every day. Karth's has been like, 1, 2 every single time. So, I do think you have to pay attention to that. I don't know. I just don't think it is 20. Okay. So then it'll be a little bit, hopefully that comes through for you guys. So if it's 20, then, it's, at the 100 energy one node refresh, it's about 62.5 crystals per shard. The second one of that is 75 crystals per shard, and shipments is 80. So, 75 crystals per shard and RG, or just buy it from shipment. So, are you a gambler is really the question there.
All right. Next question for stimulating Xylo takedown. Question from DSP. What mods should go on Darth Revan, Fallen Bastila, and HK? Do you have a good idea? Potency and offense probably seem decent if you have speed with Sith Assassin.
Yeah, I mean, speed, potency, and offense if you can. Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe some health on the characters too. Health, flat health. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have a lot of health steal and countering with Darth Revan leads. So, yeah.
All right, let me do one more check here because I have a whole group of fun questions that are left. I'm trying to see if there's any other questions that came in, and yeah. All right, we're good on time here. We're going to head into the fun questions for everyone here. So, fun questions. Let's start from all the way in the beginning because I've tried to accumulate these. Apropos Wooin question: what has been prescribed for everyone's coffee, and should it be shared or banned? I am a morning person. I can't explain to everybody else. I know Warrior, you're heading to work, right? So you kind of have to be a morning person at this point.
Yeah, I'll be going to work here in an hour this morning. I'm closing today, but yeah, I'm not a morning person, but I am. What that means is I don't like the morning and I don't want to be a morning person. I drag in the morning, but my body wakes itself up at like 6:37 in the morning every morning. Even when I try to sleep in, it just doesn't let me. So I am a morning person biologically, but emotionally I am not.
Anybody else want to take a guess at what I slipped into your coffee?
Bow rounds.
God, I could use some bow rounds right now. Those things are so freaking good. All right. Oh God, now you had me salivating as well. Okay. Next fun question is from Can't Touch
What is
This.
what is a bow round?
What?
Well, just you just stay above the Mason-Dixon line, and just it'll be a mystery for the rest of your life.
What the heck is a bow round? I want to know right now.
Is this an Urban Dictionary thing?
No, it is. Well, I don't know what'll come up if you do, but that's not what Gil Maurice is talking about. Gil Maurice, you want to explain it to him? I'm gonna.
We have this fast food chain here called Bojangles, and it's fried chicken. And in the morning they do like breakfast, and like if you go to McDonald's, you just get that single hash brown in the sleeve. Like this, you get like 4 little individual hash browns. They got like a little
They're like discs
So they're
of goodness.
Yeah.
They're like
Extra
massive
greasy,
hash browns.
extra terrible for you.
Oh yeah. But yeah, they're essentially hash browns, but they're much bigger than your typical hash browns. They're like little discs, almost like coaster-sized discs. You can.
Yeah, you will need a napkin because
Yeah.
grease will come pouring out of both sides of your
God.
mouth as you take a bite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how Ramon was like, "You need to tell me right now what a bow round is."
Oh, I need to know about bow rounds. Yeah, no, I'm disappointed that they're only at Bojangles. I was gonna investigate, but now I'm a sad man.
All right. Next question from Can't Touch This. God, what's everyone's favorite sauce with pulled pork? I'm partial to a Carolina white barbecue. God damn it. Why? Not a nice question. Good old Maurice, I'll ask you because you're in the Carolinas here. Do you like a white barbecue with your pulled pork?
If that means mustard-based barbecue, yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of our thing here.
It is, yeah. All right, next question from Darth Hideous. If every day is Nukin's birthday and every day is Farquhar's birthday, does that make Farquhar and Nukin the eternal twins?
I saw that one. Yeah.
That's good.
God, everyone's been wishing Farquhar happy birthday for the last like 4 days. God. And you're just lucky Ranger's not here, Darth Hideous, but he's gonna listen back. He'll come and get you. Next question, apropos Wooin. If Darth Revan is the fallen Anakin, who is the Obi to yell, "You were supposed to bring balance to the Force"? God, all you people, Darth Revan is not bringing balance to the Force. He's not. He's gonna break it repeatedly, over and over again. Just get ready for it. You all seem to be trying to get ready for it with all of your questions about the counters and stuff. So, RSG Vormax question: who else wants a lunch stream run by Grande? It would be that fun. Grande shouldn't be allowed to run anything. Have you listened?
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Oh my God.
I think it'd be, yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I think Ranger would pull out all of his goatee hair. Like, he doesn't have any hair on his head to pull out, so he would just pull out all of his goatee hair, just in frustration of Grande running a stream.
Isn't he on vacation anyway?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, Ranger, right?
Ranger, yeah. So
Yeah.
he won't know. He won't know the difference.
No. Well, he'll be back by the lunch stream on Monday. He's visiting his mother during this like weekend and stuff. So he's vacationing there, and then he'll be back on Monday though. So I don't know if there's an opportunity for Grande. We'll see if there's a way for us to like override Ranger signal. I think I can work that in. Next question from Pop. Let me see. Where is it? See, what other question was there? Let's see, where do I have all these like marked down by timestamp that I had to find? Oh, so general question for everyone. We can go around the corn. What do you guys think is coming in April? Any predictions? Do you think they'll do anything with April 1st? First of all, I'm kind of hoping they put in like a fake character that's like completely unusable everywhere in the game, but he just sits in your collection.
Are you kidding me? There's no way they'll do anything like that. They're too serious. They get really hurt about everything. I don't see them having fun like that. Sadly, I'm not trying to be a jerk, just the truth. Like, you can have an opinion against theirs, and then they're really not happy with you for a long time. So I don't think anything's going to happen. Plus, there's so much work to be done on real stuff. I don't think they're going to waste their time on something fake. But maybe they'll have an announcement, or they'll give away 3 Chewy shards, and they'll try to be funny and coy in that sense. But I don't really foresee any like fake character put in. That's too much work.
They should get maybe they should give legendary Chewy shards, like 3 legendary Chewy shards. That's like the definition of useless, because that does absolutely nothing. Because you can't even farm like 97 instead of the 100 that you get in the tier 7 anyways. What else 3 shards of regular OG Chewy gonna give you? I think that would be probably the biggest troll of all.
Like 64.
It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome if they created like some alternate version of Chewy, and then periodically we would just get these free Chewy shards, and one day, like 2023, you actually get a 7-star version of them.
It's like the Chewy tree in the middle of the cantina. You just pull up once a day for a shard. It's just like
you just get 3 shards every couple months until you can finally like unlock the character. Maybe the hardest character to ever get in the Star Wars Galaxy Hero.
God.
They could have Darth Jar Jar as a login character, but then it's like he just stops 1 shard short of everybody unlocking him.
Oh God.
They did that with Tusken Shaman and the Erodiums.
Which actually upsets me kind of. Who is the hard to get character right now in the game?
Traya.
Traya is a raid character, yeah, but what I'm saying is like there's always been like a General Grievous or a Darth Vader through all the eras of the game so far where you have to like this character where you get like 3 shards here, 2 shards there, and it's not like it's a chase character, like a character you're going to unlock over time, right? And right now there is no character like that.
Isn't a only on hard nodes?
I guess, but I'm just saying you could farm him. You couldn't farm Vader. You couldn't farm. I mean, you could farm Grievous, but I mean, it was like literally through the shard shop, and that was back when the shard shop was really like.
And now he has a fleet.
So what I'm saying is, there's no character like that anymore. They need to incorporate a new character that's like, a character that they kind of drip feed you.
They may.
Yeah, like Aurora's in Bronziums, and I've gotten 2 80 pulls with him. So.
Well, I mean, they
really
introduced a new release mechanic, right? It's not a character, but we do see that with Palpatine's shuttle and Ebon Hawk. And we don't know when the next time is returning, what the cadence is for these for the galactic chase stuff that they have, whether it's just going to show up in a different area, whether they plan on releasing it to a hard node permanently. So depending how the shuttle and Ebon Hawk end up, potentially they can do something similar to that with characters as well.
It's not the same. I mean, like the day you unlock Vader back in the day was a big deal, right? Like you felt like, yeah, I finally get to unlock Vader. This is cool. You know what I mean? Like the day you 7-star Vader, it's a big deal. There's nothing like that right now. So I mean, like I don't know. I think they need to put something in there that is like a down the road, long-term achievement. Maybe add somebody to the achievement section that's new besides giving us like 5 Hermit Yoda shards here and there, because I don't need those.
People used to refresh the shard shop just for a chance at 2 Darth Vader shards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, you remember that? Like,
I remember.
The shard shop used to have character shards in there, like 2 or 3 of each. It was just like a random selection. People just spamming the refresh trying to get their Vader out of there. It was crazy.
Yeah, but that was like, I mean, like I said, that was back when it was like, to get a 7-star Vader was like a big deal. Like nobody had one, So now it's like there's no character like that. I mean, everything is kind of attainable. Like there's people out there that are buying, packs for the Ebon Hawk. They have it 7 stars already. It's not the same thing. Even Vader now is basically, I mean, you can buy packs for Vader. So it's. So I mean, what I'm saying is they need to incorporate like some new, like long-term like chase character that kind of makes you feel like you're achieving a little bit of it over time. I feel like that's something that's missing, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think that the character they know that, and so what they did was they built the galactic chase to make it like that, to where when you're farming other things, you naturally get something at a slow progression. But people can't just leave well enough alone. People have to do like a billion, trillion refreshes to get the character at 7 stars right off the bat. But that's for them to do. But then this last galactic chase, they just totally ruined their entire philosophy of getting it over time naturally through progression, by farming nodes that you'd be farming anyway, because they just put out a pack. And so for everybody who didn't care, it was just like, all right, let's just finish it off with the packs. And so I agree. I wish there was something more to chase. As a 2-month-old free-to-play account, the one character that I'm naturally getting through progression is Darth Vader. And of course, I don't really have a chance in hell getting, General Grievous right now. He's such a low priority in comparison to other stuff. So some of those original chases are still kind of there for me. But yes, I think there should be 2 or 3 characters. It's just like the other thing with Captain Han Solo. You gotta have him or whatever, get him, or Leia, Han, and Hoth Leia. These are characters that they kind of initially had said, you'll have to get them through this progression thing, and then are like the IPD, the Imperial Probe Droid. But then they give like, oh, screw it, we'll just give 100 shards every time. So it's like, it's not a chase anymore. It's not like 20 shards a time or 40 shards a time. It's like, we're going to just dump this character 7-star in your lap in a couple months or less. So I wish there was something that took a long time for everybody. Doesn't matter who you are, free to play or whaley, it doesn't matter. You have to wait your period of time to get that character.
And Slashfan Rhodes brings up something in the chat, so give him credit for that, because I forgot about this too. What do you think about Hermit Yoda and Wampa, though? Is Galactic Event Store or the Guild Event Store restrictive enough, or should it be something even more so than that? I know people can save up currency, but a lot of people are still buying gear and stuff, because there's a lot of characters to get to Gear 12 now. Is that restrictive enough, or do you think it needs to be more?
I think they should add another character. How about Hoth? How about Endor Leia?
Midriff Padme. Sorry. That's the one I want to see next.
How hard would it be to put a new skin on TB, though, and give us Padme? I mean, I don't know. Maybe hard. I have literally no idea, but it's time for something new in TB. Haven't they said they're not going to do any new territory battles?
No, I don't think they said that.
When they released it, it generally said it was the first of territory battles, right? So it could be new skins and everything. And then another thing we were talking about on the lunch stream a couple of days ago too was, if they decided to make Midriff Padme like the Clone Wars or even Guild Event Store character, they could mirror like Darkside Anakin in that store too as well. Like, be a good mix there.
All right, let's go to the last few questions here. Apropos Wooin, fun question. Who takes longer to answer a question? Adastra, T-Money, or good old Maurice? It's not me. Longer, it's thorough. The correct wording is thorough. They are thorough.
I think Ramon's a good candidate too for that list. Come on. Let's all get in here.
You're just lucky I'm not answering questions.
I'm surprised I didn't make that list. Wow.
Well, not all of your questions are territory war related, Warrior. When they do, then that's a whole different issue.
Yeah, no, I mean, unlike some of my live streams, I can get a little long-winded for sure.
All right,
embrace it.
I think you could answer this one. Grande Verga, what's the best 3 characters in a Shocker team? I know you saw that question.
Yeah. This is a PG stream, so I'm going to go with Dark Side Bastila. Could be on your back row. And you can put... I don't know.
A what team? A Shocker team?
Yeah. Teams with the characters all have shock.
Oh.
Dark Side Bastila probably plays the role of the Pinky.
All right. Next question. Do you think a Ethkoth rework with Jedi Knight Guardian can beat a Darth Revan team? Where is Adastra to be like, yes, and I'm going to test it? Like, I feel like that would be her response. Yeah, give me an Ethkoth. You don't need to rework Ethkoth. I'm able to beat everyone right now, and I'll find a way to beat HK with Ethkoth. That would be Adastra's response. All right, and then last question, Captain Obvious. How many days until we get to celebrate Darth Ranger J 1999's comeback from his Sith vacation? He should be back on Monday. Again, he's just spending some time with his family over this weekend, so he should be back.
Did you see the question about the level cap increase?
No. Let me see.
There's a question here from...
Oh, I see it, from DB. How long until level cap and mod increase after Darth Revan's release? You guys have any thoughts?
That's kind of an interesting question.
When do you think, Ramon?
Maybe in Celebration or in April.
I don't know. I mean, we have this conversation all the time about, like, and I feel like I'm always saying everybody always tells me I'm always saying a level cap's coming, and then it never comes, and it's true. I mean, it's like 2 years now since the level cap increase. So I don't know. Maybe it'll never come, but I mean, they keep. I think that they recently. I think they last year said the level cap was coming, right? But
soon, TM.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
It'll break the game, and they know it. That's why they're delaying it.
Yeah. By the way, Warrior, apropos Wooin, who's the one that asked the question about the longest answer, he put in chat that he knows Warrior will win if it's a Grand Arena question, so he didn't have to even ask. All right. So that is the stream for today. We'll have everybody kind of pimp their stuff. Warrior, if you want to go ahead and start us off.
So you can check me out, Warrior Presents on YouTube, of course, and Warrior's Roster Reviews. Warrior's Roster Reviews does a couple a week. The one I just released yesterday has an insane amount of information on Grand Arena Territory Wars. Really, really good team compositions and some strategies. So I think it's a kind of a must-watch for anyone that cares about that. But it's just one of those diamond in the roughs. You'll have to go find it. Yesterday's video on Roster Reviews channel. Today I did another 3 versus 3 video. Actually released it during this stream, so you can go check that out after this stream. And you can check me out on Twitter at Warrior Present. I do tons of updates daily on my free-to-play account. So if you want to kind of see my evolution through the process of winning and losing and successes and failures, follow me on Twitter, and you guys can see all of those updates.
All right. And next, good old Maurice or T-Money, whichever one of you would like to pimp the stuff for Operation Metaverse.
I can go. He pays me $20 every time I do.
You're so much better at it than I am.
We're actually we're going to stream our first live Grand Arena in a half an hour. So that's what we're doing today. That's all I can really think about right now. And I've been waiting for my opponent to go just to see how many times I might have a little bit of wiggle room to do some creative stuff. And they've fed turd meter to my amazing Nightsisters, so I think they might be done. So I'm going to be able to do some Magma Trooper against Traya and some Nest solos, and so I'm excited to do some creative stuff today on our Grand Arena.
And this is going to be.
And good old Maurice, what did you say? Good old Maurice is breaking out. Biston, has your guy gone yet? Gone?
He's 0 for 2, so I got some wiggle. I got some
awesome.
some wiggle room.
And is this going to be the first live appearance of Unleashed T-Money?
This is going to be the first live appearance of Unleashed T-Money. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap.
I'm nervous. I'm excited.
Does Unleashed T-Money wear the Ewok ears too?
I can. I will just for you. I'll wear my Ewok ears today. Sure. Sure.
All right. And then Silo?
Creepy. Just kidding.
Unleashed Ewok.
If I mail Ewok ears to you, good Maurice, will you wear them?
Absolutely not.
Sorry.
Truffle shuffle, doing the word, all of that is fine. But Ewok ears, that's over the line.
That's out.
All right, Zylo.
I don't humiliate myself with
yourself, Zylo.
knickknacks, jewelry.
Yeah, you can check me out on YouTube, Take Down Games. I always try to stream my Grand Arenas when there's not a lot of other people streaming too, and it's going to be a busy day. A lot of people plan on streaming their Grand Arenas, so I'm trying to get with the rest of the crew here and some of the other content creators and try and figure out a good time where everybody's not streaming all at once. A couple of the other people here, of course, are going to want to do their Grand Arenas too. So come over, subscribe, check out the channel. I've got a couple of good content videos too as well, and a lot of Grand Arena live streams you can look back on too. I'm trying to get up to 500 subscribers this month too, so please subscribe to it. Really appreciate it, and make sure you subscribe to all these guys if you haven't already. Great content, and I love Operation Metaverse, Remon, Warrior, all these guys. I've learned so much from these guys too, and I can't thank you guys enough as well. Thank you, RSG.
All right. And then we have Mr. Ramon Azab.
Well, you can find me on, digitally on YouTube at my YouTube channel, Ramon Azab, and me and Maurice will be streaming tomorrow night, 11 o'clock Eastern time, going over, the expectations, where we're going to be with the Revan event, and, our thoughts about what we pretty much talked about today here, and the release of when we think the event will be released. Have some other stuff coming up, but physically, you can catch me at a bush in front of Warrior's house trying to catch spoilers. Spoilers for the next Pillars video. I want to see what's going on with that.
Oh my god.
But no, we'll be streaming tomorrow night, and once Revan drops, of course, I'll be streaming as usual the event live at 3 a.m. So anybody that wants to check that out, that has your big boy or big girl pants on at 3 a.m. in the morning and wants to see what the event looks like, I'll be doing that. So just whenever the event goes live, I'll be live, and I'll be back here next week. So thanks for having me on the stream as usual.
Of course. And let me pimp some of the people that have had to leave. So first off, we have the Delirious Miss Jedi Master Adastra, and want to shout out her channel. All the links for everybody's YouTube is in the description, by the way, so make sure that you go there and you subscribe. There's going to be a whole lot of, I think, people streaming today, so T-Money already mentioned that she's doing it with good old Maurice on Operation Metaverse. We have Xylo looking to do his Grand Arena. I know Mist Passiert. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, make sure you do. He had to delay some of his regular streams that he does on Thursday because Miss Passiert, not Mist, but Mrs. Passiert was not feeling well. So I hope she is feeling better. He is planning on trying to do his Grand Arena sometime today as well. So make sure that you do check out his channel, subscribe to his channel. Get all of your browser tabs ready so you can open everybody's Grand Arena and watch all of them at the same time and give everybody the views that they're going to be hoping for while they're doing their Grand Arena. So make sure you do subscribe to everyone in the channel. And also thanks to King Felix who had joined us. Obviously he's serving our country, so we appreciate everything King Felix is doing for us and spending time each weekend joining us to answer your guys' questions. And with that, I am part of Reality Skewed Gamers. This is the channel that you guys are on. Please subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified whenever we do a live stream. I was thinking about doing a Grand Arena live stream. We'll see with everyone that's doing theirs whether I will do one this time or not. But hope you guys enjoyed this. Please make sure you subscribe. We do Jedi Academy on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And then we also have our Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes live stream that we are coming up on our 145th straight episode on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you guys can join us for that, that's where we go through the news and notes from the last week in Galaxy of Heroes, tell you our opinions, all kinds of fun things for that. And also, as a quick note, next week, on the 30th of March, is our next 12-hour live stream, and we will be opening this time, instead of starting at 8 a.m., we'll be starting at 10 a.m., and we will be starting with Jedi Academy. So Jedi Academy is going to be the first thing that you guys see on our 12-hour live stream. It's our final push towards 15,000 for the American Cancer Society. We are currently at 11,500, plus we have some in total in the ACS direct page for our team page. So if you guys go into the Tiltify page, you will see the milestone for the lightsaber, which is actually supposed to be when we hit 15,000 total between Tiltify and ACS, and currently it's at 13,700. It comes down every time we get a donation on the ACS team page. So we're just about 2,000 away from rolling that Mara Jade lightsaber. So anything you guys can donate is greatly appreciated. Everything to the American Cancer Society. We plan on introducing some new fun things between now and next week as well. So with that, anything else that anyone else would like to add? I don't think I missed anyone, but all right. I think that covers everything. So once again, thank you guys for joining us on your weekend. I hope you guys learned something, had some fun, and Rangers should be back for any of our streams starting on Monday. And with that, I am signing out. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.